Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a moment to become present. So if you could find a nice, comfortable seated position where you can sit with your spine and the back of your neck, nice and long and tall, opening up your chest and opening up your diaphragm and opening up your heart. As you may have noticed, I have some hearts in the back, so I'm a little early. Valentine's Day isn't until Tuesday, but today we're going to do a Valentine's Day number routine. So I'm going to have us get present just for a moment. So if you could gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. And soften your eyes. And soften your shoulders. And soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. So with our Valentine's theme, this morning's intention is that we're going to start with a quote from Rumi. And he said, "Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it." So for this morning's meditation, I'd like to do a meditation that is a guided meditation. It's called the loving kindness meditation. And it has been around since Buddha and is still used by the Dalai Lama. In fact, I'm getting it right out of his book with Desmond Tutu called Book of Joy. And this meditation is designed to remove barriers. It opens the heart and cultivates love and compassion for ourselves and others by sending well wishes or positive thoughts to yourself and others. So in your nice, comfortable seated position, if you kindly place both hands on your heart, gently close your eyes and take 3 deep inhales through your nose and exhales through your nose. Think of someone you love very much, a relative or friend, or even a pet. Try to either see their face in your mind's eye or feel their presence. And notice how your heart feels when you think of them. Feel whatever arises. If you feel warmth, tenderness, or affection, stay with those feelings. If not, just stay with the thought of your loved one. Silently say the following lines. May you be free from suffering. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you find peace and joy. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, imagine a warm light coming from the center of your heart, carrying your love to your loved one and bringing them peace and joy. Reflect on the fact that just like all people, you want to be happy and free of suffering. Silently offer the following phrases. May I be free from suffering. May I be healthy. May I be happy. May I find peace and joy. With your hand on your heart, notice feelings of warmth, tenderness, and caring toward yourself. Reflect on the fact that everyone on the planet has the fundamental desire to be happy and to be free of suffering. Fill your heart with desire that all be free of suffering, perhaps even someone with whom you have a difficult relationship. And silently repeat these phrases. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be happy. May all beings find peace and joy. Allow your feelings of compassion and concern to fill your heart and feel the warmth, tenderness, and caring. Radiate this feeling of compassion out to the world. And we'll start our practice now. I think I have to share my mat this morning yet again. Yes. All right, you can sit down there. So, talking about what Rumi said about putting up barriers against love, putting up barriers or defenses can become hardwired into the body, like body armor. This stiffens the upper back, the chest, and the shoulders. What we'll do today is a lot of heart opening exercises. And the heart is kind of the midpoint of your chakra system. And its intention is to soften and release things up and down your chakra system. And so with the heart, we're going to soften the heart and then soften any type of hard armor that our body may have built up with these barriers. So to start doing that, we do this a lot, is let's start with our shoulder shrugs. So we're going to raise our shoulders up toward our ears on the inhale, and then lower them, bringing our shoulder blades toward each other as we bring our shoulders down toward the mat on the exhale. So inhale, gently rolling the shoulders up toward the ears. Exhale, rolling them to the back and down toward the mat. And this is intended to really soften up your shoulders, soften up that body armor, and just relax. It's not intended at all to wind you up and get more tense. So a great way of focusing on the relaxation part of this is with your exhale. So really focus on your inhale and even more so on your exhale. Thank you for the kisses, my little puppy boy. It's funny, he showed up in the last two classes, last week being about joy, and he's clearly my joy. And this week on love, and he's clearly my love. And he's like, here's an example of love. So if you just reverse your direction of your shoulder shrugs. And then bring your hands down. Do some sun breaths. And with the sun breaths, we're going to start with our fingertips on the mat alongside of us. And then we're going to bring them up overhead. But when we reach the top overhead, I'd like you to join your hands together in the heart shape. I think we all know how to make that heart shape. So inhale deeply, bringing your hands up overhead, making a nice arch and bringing your hands together with the heart shape, sending love out to you all and to ourselves. And then exhale, bring our hands back down. Inhale up. Hands come together in a heart shape. And then exhale down. Sending that love out. Inhale up. Hands come together in the heart, and then exhale down. Inhale up. One last time, sending that love out to you all, and then exhale down. I'm going to do chest openers and bring your hands behind your hips, interlacing your fingers, and really focus on relaxing your shoulders. Let them roll back, just loosen them up and relax them. And then we're going to send our hands out away from our hips, really opening up our chest. And then exhaling, bringing our interlaced fingers over to our waist on the right side. Inhale, extend them away from your hips and back of you. And then exhale, bring the interlaced fingers over to your waist on the left side. So inhale, extend back. Exhale to the right. Inhale, extend back. Exhale over to the left. Inhale, extend back. Exhale over to the right. Inhale, extend back. And one last time, exhale, bring over to the left. And then release your hands. We bring our arms up to shoulder height. And then bring your palms up to the sky. I'm going to send our arms out at shoulder height away from us. Nice open chest. And then we're going to bring our hands back to the center, crossing our left hand over our right, or either way, it doesn't matter. And then bring your hands around to your shoulders. Grab a hold of your shoulders. Tuck your chin toward your chest. And really feel that hug, that warmth and tenderness of the love for yourself. They say, like, when you're in an aircraft and the flight attendants giving you instructions to always put your mask on first before you put your mask or put a mask on another person. Well, that's kind of like love. You have to be able to love yourself first before you are able to love other people deeply. And then open up our arms, bring them out to the sides, shoulder height, and we'll just bring them back together, reversing the arms, what was on the top, bring it along the bottom, and vice versa. Just tuck your chin toward your chest. Really feel your hands on your shoulders, gripping your shoulders, giving yourself a nice, supportive, loving hug. And then we'll open up our arms and place them by our side. We'll come into tabletop now, Oscar. I'm going to be using the mat here. So we can share or not. Why don't you go? Go lay down. Oscar, go lay down. So in tabletop, we're going to have our wrists below our shoulders. Fingers are spread out with our index finger pointing to the top of the mat. Navel's tucked to the spine. Our knees are right below our hips, creating a nice flat back. We're going to go into a cat-cow. So exhale, rounding your back, dropping your head and your tailbone down, really expanding the back of your heart. And then inhale, lifting your head up to gaze forward. Tailbone comes up for cow, really expanding and opening your chest. Then exhale, rounding the back, dropping the head and tailbone down to cat. Inhale, lifting your head and tailbone up for cow. Exhale, rounding the back, tilting the head down, tailbone down, expanding the back of the heart. And inhaling, lifting the head, opening the chest, pelvic tilts up for cow. And just continue mindfully inhaling and exhaling during your cat-cow movements. And focusing on your heart, the front of your heart, and the back of your heart. And then come back to a neutral spine. And the next move we're going to do is a modified plank pose. So we're going to kickstand our left foot out to the left side of our mat, outside of our mat. Extend our right foot down to the bottom of the mat. Toes are pointing to the bottom of the mat. Your shoulder, left shoulder is right over your left wrist. And then we're going to sweep our hand from the mat all the way up to the sky. Follow it with your eyes. But when we get to the top of the, with our fingers pointing straight up to the sky, we're going to keep bringing our hand back. Keep your gaze up to the sky, but bring your hand back so you're really, really opening your chest. Bring it back as far as is comfortable. Again, find that sweet spot where your breath is flowing nicely, not constricted. And then bring your hand, sweep your hand right back down to the mat. And we'll do that 2 more times. So slowly with control, sweep your hand from the mat all the way up to the sky, following it with your gaze. And then keep your gaze where it is, but keep moving your hand back to really open up your chest. And then bring your hand back. And we'll do that 1 more time. Sweep your hand from the mat up to the sky. And then keep sending your hand back for a chest opener. And then sweep your hand back down. We'll do that on the other side. So come back to tabletop. Kickstand your right foot out, outside the mat. Send your left foot down to the bottom of the mat. And we'll sweep our left hand from the mat all the way up to the sky, following it with our eyes. And then once we reach the top, we'll keep sending the hand back, keeping the gaze up to the sky. And then bring our hand back, down, sweeping it back down to the mat. We'll do that 2 more times. Sweep our hands slowly with control on up to the sky. And then further back. And then sweep it back down to the mat. And one last time. Sweeping our hand up to the sky. Keep our gaze up toward the sky and then keep sending our hand back to open up the chest. And then sweeping it back down. We're going to come back to tabletop and we're going to walk our hands down to the end of the mat and bring our elbows down and then bring our chest down for extended puppy. The hips are right above our knees. Chest is reaching toward the mat. And then we'll send our hips down. We slide our hands down the mat, send our hips down toward our ankles and coming into extended child's pose. Our hips are resting on our ankles. And our hands are fully extended out in front. Just feel the stretch along our spinal cord. And we'll come back up to tabletop. Tuck our toes under, walk our hands back, coming into a squat. So we're on the balls of our feet. And then we're going to push down into our feet to come up into mountain pose. And we'll just take a moment to go through the mountain essentials, which are also the essentials of good posture. So our toes are facing the straight and long edge of the mat, or in my case, the long edge, straight edge of the mat. We're going to lift our toes up off the mat, spread them apart as much as you can. And then bringing them back down to the mat, lifting our heels up off the mat. And then bring our heels back down. So just really feeling that grounded connection to the earth. Our legs are nice and straight and strong, with a gentle bend in the knees, navel's tucked to the spine, creating a nice long spine, back of the neck. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Chin is tucked slightly toward your chest, and then the crown of your head is reaching up to the sky. And we're going to sweep our hands with a big inhale up overhead, bring our hands together, create that nice heart shape, and then bring our hands down to the mat as we generously bend our knees. So our knees are bent with our hands down on the mat. And just take a moment to check in with your body. See if you have any tension or concerns this morning. Send some nourishing deep breaths to those tensions and concerns. Then inhale and bring your hands up to your shins. Straighten your back. Send your gaze straight down. And then send the crown of your head down toward the mat. Forward fold, and just let gravity take over for a moment here. And then sweep your hands from the floor all the way up overhead, coming together with a little heart shape. And then we're going to come up onto our tippy toes for palm tree and just sway here for a moment. And then we're going to lower our heels back down to the mat, lower our hands back down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Coming back down, and then inhale, bring your hands to your shins again, flattening out your back, sending your gaze down to the floor. And then exhale, dropping the crown of your head down to the floor, just hanging here for a moment. And then sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Hands come together in a little heart shape. And then for side stretches, we're going to bring our right hand down to our right thigh, keeping our left arm up along our left ear. And then we're going to slide our right hand down toward our right knee, creating a nice gentle crescent shape. And check in with your breath. Make sure it's flowing evenly. Not, maybe back up a little bit till you get to that sweet spot where your breath is nice and even. And then bring your right hand back up. We'll drop our left hand to the left thigh, slide the left hand down toward our knee. And then inhale, come back up. One more time for each side. Right hand to right thigh, sliding it down toward our right knee. And then back up. And the left hand to the left thigh, sliding it down. And then back up. Both hands together, and then we'll bring them back down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. hands landing on the mat. Then inhale, bring your hands up to your shins, flattening out your back, sending your gaze straight down to the floor. And then slowly drop the crown of your head down toward the mat. And just let everything relax. Take a few deep breaths. Then inhale, sweeping our hands again from the mat all the way up overhead, coming together in a little heart shape. And then bringing our arms down in front of us at shoulder height. We're going to do what I call the 180s. So we're going to make a half circle with one arm. And usually we bring the other hand to our shoulder. This time I'd like to bring it to the heart. So exhaling, we're going to rotate our right hand all the way around so that it comes in back of us 180 degrees. And with our left hand, we're going to place it on our heart. Elbows still up, arms are at shoulder height. And then bring our right hand, sweep it all the way back with that 180. Bring our hands back out together. And we'll do that on the other side. So sweep your left hand out in a 180 circle as you guide your right hand to your heart. Elbows up. And then sweep your left hand back to center. Bring the pair of hands together. We'll do that again on each side. So sweep your right hand 180 degrees to the back. Nice twist for the torso. Bringing the left hand to your heart. And then back again to the center. And sweep your left hand around. Elbows are up. Bringing your right hand to your heart. And then come back to center. Lift our arms up. And exhale, bringing them back down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Inhale, bring them up to our shins, flat back for half forward fold. And then drop the crown of our head down toward the mat. And just relax here for a moment. And then sweep our hands all the way up overhead, coming together with a little heart shape. And then bring them, your hands down to the backs of your hips for supported back bend. Place your hands with the fingertips pointing down toward the mat, palms against your hips. Feet are hip width apart. We're going to relax our shoulders and just let them roll back. Tucking our chin to our chest. We're going to just roll our shoulders back till you get to that sweet spot again where your breath is nice and even. And your gaze is up above the trees. It shouldn't be, your head should not be hanging back. Again, find that spot where your breathing is nice and even and flowing. And then come back up to mountain pose. How's everyone doing? Okay, so start again in mountain pose. Sweeping our hands up overhead. Hands come together in a heart shape. And then exhaling down. We're going to do 3 sun breaths. So that's 1. Inhale deeply, all the way up. Hands come together in the heart. And exhale deeply as you bring them down. This is our pranayama for today's class. So inhale again, up. Hands come together in the heart shape. And exhale deeply as you bring your hands down. Okay, so we're going to sweep our hands up. Inhale, exhale, bending our knees. We're going to come all the way down to the mat. And then extend your right foot all the way to the back of the mat, coming into runner's lunge. Your left foot should be framed by your hands and your knees right over your ankle. Back leg is nice and straight and strong. Heels pushing to the back of the mat. We're going to plant our right hand down on the mat and then sweep our left hand all the way up to the sky, following our hand with our eyes. So it's runner's lunge with a twist. And then exhale, bringing that hand back down to the mat. We're going to bring our right knee down to the mat and the top of our right foot down to the mat, coming into low lunge. Still with our knee over our ankle, we're going to push down to our front foot and lift our arms up, creating a little bit of a back bend. And then we're going to open our arms to the side. Palms are facing up. And you guessed it, we're going to hug ourselves. So sweep your hands, bringing your left arm under your right arm. Bring them to your hands to your shoulders, tucking your chin toward your chest. And give yourself a nice hug. And then bring your hands back down to the mat. Tuck your back foot under, coming back to runner's lunge. And we're going to go into a high lunge. So you can either come into a high lunge, which would be on the ball of your foot in the back, or if you're a little unstable in that, you can pivot your back foot down and come up into warrior one. Your choice. We'll come up, again, arms up in the sky, a little bit of a crescent shaped back bend. And then bring our arms down to the sides, palms facing up to the sky. Bringing your arms together, crossing your left under your right. Bring them to your shoulders. And a little gentle hug here. And then bring your hands back down to the mat. We send our left foot back to the right foot, coming into plank pose. And you can come down to the mat gently, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Keeping your elbows tucked to your side. Your fingertips are right below your shoulders. And we're going to lift our hands up off the mat, lift our chest and chin up off the mat for baby cobra. And then place your hands back down to the mat. And with your elbows tucked to your side, gently lift your chin and chest up as you're gently pushing in to come into cobra. And then come back down. And this time we're going to do up dog. So again, plant your hands under your shoulders, elbows are tucked to the side. The tops of your feet will be snug and secure on the mat. And we're going to push down in our hands, fully extending our arms, coming up into up dog. Then drop your knees to the mat. Drop your hips to your ankles with your arms extended out in front for extended child's pose. Then come back up to tabletop. Tuck your toes under. We'll come into downward dog. We'll just walk out your downward dog here for a moment. Arms are nice and straight and strong. Fingers are spread apart. Index finger pointing to the top of the mat. Chest is reaching toward your thighs. elevating your hips upward. And then we're going to lift our right leg up and back. So really feel that balance in your front hands, the even weight distribution. And then bring your right foot back down to downward dog, pedal out for a moment. And then lift your right leg up again. And then bring it back down to the mat. And then we're going to bring our right leg up. We're going to bend our heel toward our hips and then point our knee to the right. So we're stacking our hips. And then bring that knee back down and place it actually on the mat, right below your hips. Kickstand your right foot out, outside of the mat. Extend your left foot down to the bottom of the mat. And we'll do one of those modified planks we did earlier. So sweep your hand all the way up to the sky. And as your gaze follows it, once it hits looking at the sky, keep your gaze there and send your arm back. And then we'll sweep our hand back down and come back into downward dog. Now this is an option part. We're going to do the pose called wild thing. And you can do what we just did instead of wild thing, because if you have any shoulder or back issues, you may want to opt for that modified plank we just did. Otherwise, lift your right leg up, stack your hips by pointing your right knee to the right side of the mat, and then pivot on your arm, dropping your right foot to the back of the floor, sending your left foot out, and sending your right arm up to the sky. And then bring your hand back, come back into plank pose. Lower down to the mat, chaturanga, or knees, chest, chin. With your fingertips below your shoulders and your elbows toward your ribs. Gently lift your chin and chest up, coming into cobra. And then lift your hips up and send them back toward your ankles for extended child's pose. And then come back up to tabletop. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up to downward dog. And we'll slowly walk our feet up to our hands, forward fold, and then sweep our hands all the way up overhead. Hands come together in our heart shape. And then exhale, bringing our arms down. We'll do 2 more deep breaths. Inhale. Hands come together in a heart shape. And exhale. And one last time, inhale deeply and bring your hands together in heart shape. And exhale, bring your arms down. And we'll do that all on the other side. So again, opt if you want to try the wild thing, that's your call, or you could just do another modified plank. So inhale, sweeping our hands up. And exhale down, bending our knees as we go. We're going to send our left foot back now, coming into runner's lunge with our right knee over our right ankle. Back leg is nice and straight and strong. Heels pushing to the back of the mat. We'll plant our left hand down on the mat, sweeping our right hand up to the sky. And then bringing it back down. We're going to bring our left knee down to the mat, left top of our foot down to the mat, coming into low lunge. Pushing down into our right foot, we're going to sweep our hands up to the sky, straight up, creating a little bit of crescent back bend. And then opening our arms out to the side, palms up. And we'll sweep our hands across our front with the right arm going below the left arm. Hands coming to our shoulders and giving ourselves a nice hug. And then bring our hands back down to the mat. Tucking our back toes under, come back up to runner's lunge. And again, we can do high lunge or warrior one, whichever you prefer. Warrior one, and you just pivot your back foot down. High lunge, you keep your balance on your toes, and you come up to a high lunge. Arms go up to the sky. And then bringing your arms alongside, palms facing up. Sweep our hands in front of us, right arm under the left arm. Hands come to our shoulders for a nice gentle hug. And then bring our hands back down to the mat. Send our right foot to the back of the mat, coming into plank pose. And then lowering either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Fingertips are right below our shoulders. And we're going to gently lift our chin, our chest up, and our hands off the mat. And then bring everything back down to the mat. We'll lift our chin and chest up, pressing down into our fingertips, coming up into cobra. And then bring everything back down. And then for up dog, our hands are right below our shoulders, elbows tucked to the side, tops of our feet are nice and snug in the mat. And we're going to extend our arms fully, pushing up into up dog. Then bring our knees to the mat, send our hips to the ankles, lowering our hips down, coming into extended child's pose. And coming back up to tabletop. We'll tuck our toes under, lifting our hips up to downward dog. We'll just pedal out here for a moment. Again, arms are nice and straight and strong. Index fingers pointing to the top of the mat. And then we're going to lift our left leg up to the sky. Make sure you're evenly distributed or have your weight evenly distributed in your hands. And then bring that left foot down, pedal out for a moment. And then lift it up again. And bring it back down, pedal out. And then lift it up again. This time we're gonna take our heel, bring it toward our hips, and then point our left knee toward the left side of the mat. So we're stacking our leg over our hips. And then point your knee back down to the mat and bring your knee back down to the mat. Kickstand your left foot outside of the mat, sending your right foot down to the end of the mat. And we'll do this modified plank. Sweep your hand up to the sky. Keep your gaze up to the sky as you continue sending your hand back. And then bring your hand back down. And you can do another one of those or join me in Wild Thing. So go back up to Downward Dog. Lift our left leg up. Stack our hips. So we're having our heel toward our hips. Knees pointing to the left side. And I'm just going to drop my left foot to the floor in back of me. Pivoting on my hand and sending my arm out. And then we'll come back to plank. Shoulders are right above our wrists. Heels are pushing to the back of the mat and gently lower down. And then pushing up into Cobra with our elbows tucked to the side. And then keep pushing, come up to tabletop, and then down to extended child's pose. And then come back up to tabletop. We're gonna swing our feet off to the one side and come into a seated position. And if you all have a towel nearby, you can bring the soles of your feet together, like we're in cobbler's pose. But we're gonna do a reclined goddess. So we're gonna bring our backs down to the mat. But if you'd like an extra cushion, which I love, you could bring the towel around, set it on the top of your feet, and then pull the two sides underneath your legs so that your feet are in this nice little cocoon here. Knees are out to the side. It also helps to support the knees up. Otherwise, you could have two blocks under your knees or blankets or pillows under your knees. And then gently roll back. You come into reclined goddess. You can have your arms alongside you or in goalposts or fingers interlaced behind your head, whatever is comfortable for you. I kind of like the goalposts version of that. We'll just relax here for a moment. Well, I could stay here all day, but we should move along. So guide your knees together and then bring your knees toward your chest for knees to chest. And we're gonna go into happy baby. So you can approach it one of two ways. You can tuck your hands underneath your knees and guide your knees toward your chest, or you can slide your hands up your legs to the point where you're comfortable, or the full happy baby is grabbing the outer edges of your feet and then pulling your knees, guiding your knees down toward your armpits. So again, find a nice comfortable spot between the back of your knees and the outer edges of your feet for happy baby. And if you are inclined to, you do a little rock back and forth here. And then bring your knees together, tucking your hands under in back of your knees. So your knees are right above your chest. And we're going to drop our knees and roll over to our right side. So we're rolling our entire self over to the right side. So the knees come out from your hips at a straight angle, and your legs are at a right angle. So it's as if you're sitting in a chair, but you're lying on the floor. And then we're going to send our arms out from the shoulders straight ahead, bringing both palms together. So we're on our side, arms out at shoulder height, legs are at a 90-degree angle as if we're sitting in a chair. And then we're going to sweep our left hand all the way over, again, making a 180-degree circle or half circle, opening up our chest as we go, following our hand with our eyes, nice reclined twist. And then bring our left hand back, sweep it back over in a 180-degree arch. Back to our right hand, landing it on our right hand. We'll do that 2 more times. Just sweep our hand open as if we're creating a rainbow. Following our hand with our eyes. And then just landing our left hand on the left side of the mat. And then sweep it back over till it comes in contact with your right hand. And one last time on the side, sweep your left hand up and over, following it with your eyes. Nice, gentle, controlled movements. And then sweep it back. So then we're going to come back to being on our back. The knees are over our chest, and we'll drop our knees to the left side. Rolling over to our left side. Our left arm is out at shoulder height. Our legs are at 90 degrees as if we're sitting in a chair. Right palm is against your left palm. And then we're going to start our 180-degree arch, sweeping our right hand up toward the sky, following it with our eyes, and gently lowering it to the right side of the mat. And then sweep it back. Nice, slow, controlled movements. And we'll do that 2 more times. You go at your own pace. Create a nice, broad rainbow sweep with your hand. And then coming back. And one last time, if you're not already ahead of me. And then back. roll over on your back and extend your legs to the bottom of the mat. Prepare for Shavasana. Your heels come to the corners of the mat and just let your feet drop open. Relax your legs, your hips, your shoulders. Let your arms come alongside you, just about 45 degrees out from your torso, palms facing up, so your shoulder blades can fit nice and snug into the mat. Relax your face muscles. Gently place a smile upon your lips. And take 3 deep breaths. With each exhale, softening your body, releasing it into the mat. For today's final words, I have a quote from Winnie the Pooh. Winnie says, "Always leave footprints of love and kindness on every step of your journey."